Welcome back to my YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the Mighty Bjorn, and today for you I have a Bjorn's Mighty Thoughts video, and the primary focus today is I'm going to be talking about the new Sons of the Forest trailer. This is the second trailer that has come out for Sons of the Forest. I'm actually quite excited. I'm going to be covering some things that I've seen in the trailer. I'm actually going to be playing the trailer for you, giving you kind of a breakdown of what I think I'm seeing or what we've seen previously. And the reason I'm saying that we've seen previously is because this video is actually co-opted with another one of my videos. I actually did a breakdown reaction video previously for the first Sons of the Forest trailer. I will put a link in the video description below. You guys can go check it out, see what I have to say about the first trailer if you want to. But let's dive on in here, and we will begin here with the second trailer. So just bear with me for a few moments, folks, and hopefully I don't screw things up because I'm old and shit and normally do that. Let's get started. Okay, now I want to point something out here. Now, this scene was sort of in the first trailer. What I did notice, though, is actually the character is on the opposite side of the helicopter this time, where previously he was actually sitting in front of this guy. And I did notice, you probably missed it, but there was a quick glimpse of one of the emergency rations on the floor. We'll see if I can rewind it back just enough so maybe you can see it. You can actually see two of them right there under his seat. Let's play here a little bit more. And once again, it looks like we're with the mercenaries. Now, what looks like we have here is a GPS, so it looks like probably the mapping is going to be done through a GPS device. And it seems like there's a location on the map. Now, I'm not sure if that's... To me, it looks like it's something that maybe you can actually set yourself, and that's the location he actually wants to go to. Or it could be part of the story where that's actually set automatically in the GPS, and that's a location of interest. Now, I'm going to give some great credit here to End Night Games. I actually like the wood chipping here on the tree as they're chopping it down. And as you can see, again, this is going to be the typical survival game that it was previous, that the Forest was. Now, here's another thing I really like, too, and this was interesting as well, as there's actually footprints in the snow. I'm not sure how that's going to work out, if that's going to be like a common path type thing after using a certain pathway so many times that you will actually leave tracks or a path in snow. The other thing is I'm not too sure if this is going to have seasons, which I don't think is the case. I actually think this is a more northern part of the game, as well as that actually looks like the north-facing mountains. So I'm not as convinced as I was before that this is actually Site 2. If you played through the Forest, at the end of the Forest, there's actually a hint of another site, but this could also be Site 2 as well. So I'm actually a little bit more up in the air about it. The other interesting thing I see here is they actually brought back the log cabin, and I'm not sure why, but that looks like it has some type of panels on the top there on the roof, but I can't quite tell what those panels are. All right, so let's dive on in here some more. Now, this part I found interesting. That looks like a Virginia mutant, and the other thing I find interesting about it is the mutant is actually shivering, and if you look, you can actually see her feet are black, which actually looks like this Virginia mutant is suffering from frostbite. Of course, doesn't have cold weather gear, but it's interesting to see that the characters, the mutants, etc., might actually be affected by cold weather. They didn't seem so affected by cold weather in the Forest. So that's actually, like I said, that's an interesting part to point out. And right here we get a better view of the log cabin. And honestly, it looks like it's just the same log cabin from the Forest in general terms, with some minor changes made to it. And as you can see, you get better tracks in the snow. Now we can see a new weapon here. This is a new weapon. This is a returning weapon. That is the crossbow. There's also a Virginia here as well. I'm actually suspecting it's the same Virginia that we just saw a little bit ago that was freezing in the snow. I got a feeling this character is actually part of, I guess you could say, the story of the game, and she might be acting as a guide or whatever. And there's some another additional scene where I'll be pointing that out as well. I also like, if you can look at the waterfall there, you'll actually see some fish trying to go up the waterfall, kind of like salmon going up a waterfall, if you will. And the graphics generally, to me, looks really amazing. I want to point that out too. So this is definitely going to be pretty GPU reliant. It looks really good though. See there, you can see the fish. Now I like how the mutants look a bit more realistic, or the cannibals, if you will. And they missed a part of the handgun there. It's actually nice to see that they're going to be adding a handgun as well. And if you look at the cannibal there, you can actually see he's reacting to being shot. I found that really interesting, as they seem to be more reactive to pain than they were in the forest. Nice reload animation. Shot that one right in the head. Oh, missed a part there. Let's rewind it back. Oh, too far. So there he's reacting to being shot. Now that there is definitely that Virginia. So that, for some odd reason, that Virginia is definitely hanging around quite a bit. I wonder what the story is going to be behind this Virginia, because she's definitely not aggressive to him and is definitely hanging around quite a bit. It's interesting. And see here, the mutant actually is more or less reacting to fear. He's definitely afraid. Of course, you know, something the size of your hand, and it could easily kill you or damage you. So that's actually really interesting to how that actually works out. And honestly, the reaction of the cannibal NPC here looks better than it did in the forest, even though it sort of kind of had that in the forest as well, where the mutants would try to crawl away from you and run away. Now, here's something I pointed out in the first one. There was an entrenching tool in the helicopter in the first trailer, and I said about possibly a digging mechanic. I would say that digging mechanic is now confirmed. Now, it's interesting that there's a vault door here, and it looks like the lab, or a lab. Now, this I found interesting. He has a mask here. And what's interesting is there's a little bit more of the mask. The other thing is, if you look here in white, it looks like it's 3D printed. Looks like Timmy's toy from the first Forest game. So I found that interesting. But it's not colored. So I kind of wonder why it's 3D printed. And the mask really had my interest piqued. And I kind of wonder if this is something that you're going to be able to craft, if you're going to have to craft multiple, whatever. And I mean, you know, pretty cool to see a 3D printer. Now, this part I thought was cool. As you're doing the building, the logs will do different things. And as you can see here, he's trying to build it like a deck or something. And he actually, he did the animation of splitting the log in half and laying it on the ground, folded out. And there is actually another one here. See here, it looks like he's cutting out a window. Or maybe a defensive battlement or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's like the window to like the log cabin. Now it's pretty cool to see the cannibals attacking the walls. And I missed that part there, where the cannibal was trying to run away with the log. I found that interesting as well. So now they're going to try to steal your logs. Like it ain't hard enough to, you know, chop down a lot of trees and get them bundled up. Now the cannibals are going to steal them. Also, the shotgun makes a comeback. The 870, I'm pretty sure it's an 870 breacher. The other thing here too is once again, it looks like you have some type of I'm not sure if it's like a clan hierarchy here where it looks like you have this golden masked cannibal or mutant and he's choking out another cannibal mutant that's not part of his tribe, which I did find that interesting from the first Force, where the different tribes would react different ways to each other, even attack each other on a regular basis. Now this I found interesting. This is another throwback again to the Force. Now the mask not so much, but the idea in the first Force you could paint yourself in red paint, and the cannibals, most of the cannibals wouldn't attack you. Actually, if you pay attention, that you can actually catch them starting to worship you because they think you're the Red Man. And here he's actually wearing a mask, and that cannibal is actually reacting to the mask in a calm manner. He's just kind of looking at the character here, which at this point I'm actually starting to suspect this. I'm still suspecting it's Timmy, which may explain the Virginia, because Timmy's got a part of the Megan Cross mutant in him. That might explain the Virginia as well. So here we got a new mutant as well as another new weapon. He is using a taser. And what you have here is you have a mutant. It looked like it has legs and a really big mouth. And I think what it does is it gives off some kind of sonic shout. Probably lets other mutants know a location, calls in other mutants to attack and assist and whatever else. And even the sonic shout may affect the character in certain ways, such as a deafening scream would. And right there on the ground look like two babies, although they look a bit grown, but they kind of look like more or less grown babies if you remember the baby mutants from the Forest. So I found that pretty interesting. And we got a better look here of the, for now, I'll just call it a howler. I'm not sure what else to call it. I would not want to get close to this thing, though. Look at those huge teeth. I mean, it's all teeth. It's just mouth and teeth and a set of legs. But I bet you it's probably pretty easy to kill looking at it. It looks kind of fragile. But we'll see. We'll find out when the Forest hits. And that's really it for the trailer. They got it at, 2021. We got a release date. So there you go. That's my breakdown of the Forest, folks. It's just a really short video today. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Once again, link down in the video description below for my first review of the first trailer. And actually, I'll put a link as well for my review of the Forest down below as well. Maybe you want to check that out. Maybe you've never heard of the Forest before, and this is your first time actually ever hearing about this game. Now would be a good time to go back and check out the Forest before Sons of the Forest comes out. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the video once again, and have yourself a Merry Christmas.